Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back with another awesome episode. I am very, very excited. Part 2 of our critically acclaimed Resident Evil 7 discussion. I hope everybody did listen to part 1. It was a really good show. It takes a lot for me to feel good about our stuff, but I listened to that one. I was like, yeah, this is a damn good show. It's another late night recording here. So God help you all.
A long history of late night recordings.
The weirdest episodes are always the late night recording episodes.
Grim Fandango and Life is Strange went well into the night.
Yeah, Grim Fandango was the we're all confused and messed up. Life is Strange, we all have emotions all of a sudden. So who knows where this is going, boys and girls. But sitting here with my co-host Michael. Michael, how things going?
Things are going really good.
Michael, we had a great week last week for listens.
We really did.
I think it was another record-setting performance there. We're having just continuing to see the numbers jump and jump and jump. And I really appreciate that because obviously the more we see the numbers go, the more we get feedback from all you guys, the better, so we know what we can continue to do to grow this show. But I have a problem, Michael.
What's the problem? Everything's good.
No, things are not good. Usually before the show, I do a breakdown of what we're going to talk about. But I left this part out, Michael.
Why is that?
There were shenanigans on the reviews.
What? Who would do such a thing?
All right, so we don't push the reviews a lot. We should push them more because they do help the show. So if you would like to leave a review or a 5-star, ranking, that's always very nice, and we really would appreciate it. But some listener, somebody who I feel like you might know, Michael.
Who would that be?
I don't know who it is, but here's the thing. Somebody put their review, 5-star review. Thank you, by the way, for the 5-star review. Thank you. But I feel like that Michael guy sounds hot. This is bullshit. All right? I didn't start a ranking battle here. I didn't try to claim the listeners. But all of a sudden, now I feel like I need to defend myself. All right? So,
Random Geek Girl, thank you for the review, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Wonderful job. Now I don't feel self-conscious at all. So, I am calling upon all 3 of the Eric Defense Force to get on there. Leave a review. I'm not vain enough to have to say that I'm hot. You can just leave a 5-star review saying State of the Save is your favorite podcast.
Are you implying that I or someone I know very deeply wrote this review?
I feel like we had a sanctity of the reviews, and now it's corrupted. And now that it's corrupted, kind of like the corruption inside Resident Evil 7. See, I'm keeping it on topic. Because not only am I a good-looking host, I'm also a quality host. Now that the cat's out of the bag, we got to go full force. So, I'm calling all the listeners. Go out there, leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Leave a review, because not only does it make us feel good, not only does it me and Michael fight over who's the hotter one, but also it helps promote the show, and it gets more people listening, which, Michael, we can put aside our differences here.
Do you want me to break kayfabe for a minute and talk about the story behind this review?
No, I don't want to break kayfabe. We're going to keep kayfabe here because we're going to hope that kayfabe leads to more people reviewing the show.
Who is this mystery
woman?
Who is this
mystery woman?
My wife will probably not be happy about this.
No.
She definitely didn't write this.
No, not at all.
No, not at all, no.
My favorite thing, we'll break kayfabe a little bit. My wife saw that and did not go and add anything about me. She just went, and just kept going. So I feel pretty bad about myself now. So if a random listener would like to take the place and help me out, that would be appreciated. But that's enough talk about kayfabe reviews.
That's why you come here.
Yeah, you come here for the banter. We have a new social media.
Woo!
At State of the Save on Instagram. We are not... Michael, are we good at social media?
I'm trying.
You're trying. Michael is better at social media than I do. Any good post that you see or anything on social media, that's Michael. I would just be like, hey guys, what's up? Please like and subscribe. That would be all you would get for every day. But we started an Instagram, already doing better than the Twitter.
What does that say about Twitter? or me in general.
I think that Twitter is just where people go to yell at each other now. But we did have some success on the TikTok. The Zoomers liked us for a little while, and then they got bored of us. But
I'll just post more Spider-Man clips. That seems to do well.
Yeah, hey. Go on there, join up, follow us. We're trying to get this thing going. I can tell you 90% of our listeners, a lot more than that, do not follow us on social media, but listen consistently. So if you're one of those people, hop on there. Let's try to get this crazy thing they talk about like social interaction that we're all supposed to have. So the more you jump on there, let's try to get this thing going. If y'all do a good enough job, maybe me and Michael will actually like post a photo. Y'all can rank us on who's hot or whatever. I'm desperate here, guys. I gotta get a review. I can't let him go out there like this. But Stay the Save at Instagram, Stay the Save on Twitter if you really want to be on there, Stay the Save on TikTok, and then State of the Save at gmail.com. That's where we'll read your emails, like our buddy Austin last week. Off the top, Michael, before we jump into this craziness of this Resident Evil 7 show, what other video games have you been playing that have not made you like scared of the dark?
I am at the final boss of Persona 5 before we get into the third semester of Persona 5 Royal, and that boss is quite an endeavor. There is no way to like refuel your power meter before going in and take the final boss, so unless you were proactive and have a bunch of items to help you with that, I do not. So I'll see how this goes. I might need to drop the difficulty for this final boss.
So there's no like Resident Evil, like here's a bunch of shotgun shells before you go into the boss.
You get one healing item for your party.
Persona 5 don't play. Persona 5's like, listen, get good, bro.
I'm like, I have abilities that'll heal my entire party. And it's like, well, you did it. Good job. You're ready to go. I'm like, what? No.
It's like I was trying to save those for later. I am more excited for you to finish Persona 5 than I think you are, just because I want you to say on the show I am done with Persona 5.
And then I play Persona 5 Strikers.
Jesus Christ.
And Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight.
Okay, sure. Why not? This is our Persona 5 show, everybody. Welcome to State of Persona. Other than Persona, what have you been playing?
I finally got back around to this week finishing Spider-Man Miles Morales.
I am so looking forward to when I get my hands on one of those PlayStation 5s to play that one with my new fancy TV.
Man, what a game. What a charming little game that is.
You know, that's an Insomniac joint, right?
Yes.
You know, Insomniac is one of those developers that I forget how good they are until I look back on their like pedigree. Like, they've got some freaking classic games, man.
Did you see the state of play or like some clips of it going around of the new Ratchet and Clank game?
It looks freaking good.
There's level changes during boss fights, and I'm like, this is awesome.
You know, the Ratchet and Clank games are like really underrated about how good they are.
I was a Jak and Daxter guy. You either like Jak and Daxter or you like Ratchet and Clank. I was Jak and Daxter.
See, I liked Ratchet and Clank. That and Sly Cooper. I was a big fan of the Sly series.
I never played a Sly Cooper. I think I would like those games.
I think that I really remember enjoying those. But Ratchet and Clank, man, almost all of those are really, really good. Even like the PSP ones were really good. Like, that's a series that I think people kind of forget. And then they did that Resistance Fallen Man series that is better than it probably should have been.
Was that Insomniac?
I think that's Insomniac, wasn't it? While you check that thing called the internet, I'm going to continue to dig a hole here and say it was Insomniac. Because I kind of remember that one of the big things they talked about was they were still kind of bringing the crazy weapon designs of Ratchet and Clank and trying to make them grounded.
That is Insomniac.
Yeah. And if you play those...
Oh, I was thinking Guerrilla. They did Killzone.
They did Killzone at the same time. That was the two big Sony shooters on the PS3 and PS2. Well, PS2 for Killzone, and then PS3 was Resistance. But that series is better than it should be. I think it fell off on the third one, but the first two are actually not that bad. But yeah, Insomniac, man, and okay.
Sunset Overdrive was like a blueprint for what Spider-Man would be, And also a really funny game, too.
Now, did you play the first Spider-Man, or did you just play Miles?
I played the first Spider-Man. That is why I got a PS5, because it's like, hey, you want to play Spider-Man Remastered? And I did. I ate that game up. I played that nonstop for about 40 hours, and then I jumped into Miles Morales and was like, I need a break from Spider-Man. So I took a break from Spider-Man, then after a month I came back, and I finally finished Miles Morales, and man, what a good game. What a charming Spider-Man game. Miles Morales is a great character, and it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's more short, it's more tight.
You know, that's one of my favorite things about, like, the older I've gotten, the more I appreciate smaller games.
The 10-hour game.
Yeah, like, dude, a solid 10-hour game that keeps throwing new and cool stuff at me, it's so much more interesting to me now than a 40-hour open... Like, I never play the Assassin's Creeds anymore. Because it's like, here's a 90-hour video game. And it's like, dude, I just don't want to... I don't have the time commitment.
What's
like,
a 90-hour video game like? Never heard of one.
Yeah, Mr. sitting on like a 200-hour Persona 5, then wanting to go play the dancing sequel. Man. Freaking.
You can play that in bursts, like hour-long bursts. So it's like,
okay, yeah, that makes it better. No, but like, yeah, it's solid 10 minutes, man. Which one did you like more? Just the Miles, or did you like the Peter one?
Probably base Spider-Man, just because it was my first time. Because I didn't have a PS4, so going into Spider-Man Remastered, and that was my first experience with the PS5. So turning on that 60 frames per second with the ray tracing mode and seeing a game look that good just had me floored. And then going to Miles Morales and seeing like everything, just standing in streetlights with the different suits and seeing like the spider symbol, you can tell it's a different like material because you'll see the street light in real time reflect off the spider logo. I would call my wife in and go, "Come here, you need to see this. Look at the street light reflecting off the spider. It's amazing."
You know, like that game is such a, like, that's the next like big thing that drew me to getting a PlayStation 5. Like, I was looking at God of War and I was like, yeah, I gotta get into God of War again. I gotta get into like a Horizon Zero Dawn and all that stuff. But
I started playing God of War, and then I was like, ooh, when Eric gets now I'm finding myself stopping games because I'm like, I kind of want to save this for
I do the same thing.
So like I always get like an hour in. So I got an hour into God of War, and I'm like, this is really good. I was like, ooh, if Eric gets a PS5 or a PS4 or something, like, I need to save this.
We're going to do God of War, I think, for the show. It's a story about a father and son. It's the
Mandalorian.
And I'm a sucker for a parent story, man. So we're going to do that game. We'll have to. And I also am a sucker for Norse mythology stuff.
That is your game.
Yeah, I love
that is your game.
Random plug here about Norse mythology. Neil Gaiman did Norse mythology, like his version of it. If you ever want a cool book, read that book. This is a late night show, people. I'm just going to be throwing out random stuff. Get used to it. But yeah, we're going to do that for the show for sure. I'm going to be real quick with the game I've been playing other than Resident Evil because I know it's not usually everybody's thing. But MLB The Show came out 2021. I don't play a lot of baseball games or anything like that. I kind of downloaded this just because I wanted to see a Sony logo pop up on my Xbox.
It's so weird, man. It's so strange.
I showed you. You were at the house. I was like, look at this. And I brought it up. I was like, look at that Sony logo right there.
I love that it's just when they show the Sony logo and it's the games reflecting off, it's just baseball.
Yeah,
like they did.
Yeah.
I was like, that's the opportune time for Sony to be like, look at all these games you could be playing.
Microsoft put a stick in the sand there. They're like hell, you're going to put all your games on this thing. We're not going to run a teaser for the PlayStation 5 on our system.
It should have been the Astros Playroom one where it was just pictures of a cute little robot just running around like, wee!
But still would have been an advertisement for the place.
Yeah, but that would or an Astro playing baseball. That's what you need. That'd be great. That's
a damn good baseball game. I don't know. I haven't played the show series much, but that's a good video game, man. And it has the customization enough that it can make it as arcadey as you want it to be. One of my big complaints about like modern sports games is a lot of times they get so much into the simulation side of things that it takes away the fun part of it. Like, you have to ride the puck up on your stick in this exact way to be able to, make this pass or knock it down in this way. And it's like, okay, cool, that's fine, but I really want to just have a fun hockey experience. This game lets you tone it in so you can kind of find a good sweet spot. It's a damn good baseball game. So like I said, I'm going to be short with it, but if you have any interest in sports games, MLB The Show, it's on Game Pass, which is also insane that this Sony-made video game is on Game Pass. But it's a damn good baseball game. Also, I love minor league baseball. It has all the AAA and the AA teams, which to me is a bigger deal than playing as majors. I much rather play as a bunch of AAA teams. So love me some minor league baseball. So MLB The Show. That's Eric's sports game talk.
I know very little about baseball besides like going to the occasional game and going, cool, baseball, and then that's my experience with it. Most of what I know about baseball, like most kids of the 90s, I learned baseball from the rules of baseball from video games. So it was Tommy Lasorda baseball on the Genesis, and then later it was the reason I haven't played a show game is because early on I disliked it on principle, because right around the time the show got really popular, MLB Slugfest was gone at that point. And Slugfest is a baseball game you can play as Sub-Zero and Scorpion. So I'm like, what are we doing?
Is that the NFL Blitz style baseball game?
There's a punch button.
Yeah, you can punch people.
Yes, you can play as clowns and slide into people's junk.
We need
hilarious.
We need more of those kind of football, like baseball games, football games, all that stuff. There was a sweet spot on the PlayStation 2 where you had NBA Street,
Blitz the League.
You had what is it, like NFL? Was it NFL Street that was like all the football, but was played on yeah, that was freaking great.
It was
great.
Like played on like parks and everything.
There was all those midway sports games.
Yeah, Slugfest, NHL Hits.
NHL Hits 2002 is my jam. Oh,
NetherRealm, what are we doing?
My favorite hockey team is the New Jersey Devils, and the reason why is in the NHL the Hits 2002. I was getting into hockey a lot at that time. And I was just like, I was watching it, and around that time, the New Jersey Devils were kind of borderline in becoming my favorite team. And then when Hits came out, Scott Stevens was in that game, and you could just send people go flying through the glass, and it just like helped reinforce my New Jersey Devils fandom that stuck with me to this day.
Any games where the sports people have health bars is a good game.
Yes. Please bring back extreme sports games, man. It would fit great as like a $20 game. Put that thing on Game Pass or put it on and there was a $20
The
NFL
closest
Street,
thing we got on Game Pass to that is they put NHL 94 on there,
which is actually pretty good.
They took out the blood though.
Yeah, it's got no blood, and it's that thing is not exactly what I want because it's a fun little thing to fiddle around with for half an hour. But like I would never play a whole season of it.
Just me.
Okay, man, listen.
You're talking to a guy who brought out a Sega Genesis a few years ago to play Tecmo Super NBA basketball and took us all the way with the Charlotte Hornets.
Congratulations to the
I'm
Charlotte
probably
Hornets.
The only one who took the Charlotte Hornets all the way, but I did it. Dang it.
I did play a few games of Tecmo Bowl on the Nintendo Classic Switch app thing.
They take all the team names out, so now it's just Montana and Chicago.
It's just the names. Yeah. So it's just like Washington and Oakland. It doesn't have like the Oakland Raiders or anything.
You can't say that on here. That's licensed. It's copyright.
Licensed by the NFL National Football League. All of a sudden, Joe Madden kicks the door. You're like, who's been talking about fucking football? I'm sorry, Joe. I'm sorry. But that's enough sports game talk. I know not everybody's into sports games.
I'm with you.
Well, I mean,
listener.
But I will say this: like the extreme sports games, I think everybody can play a game of Blitz and have a good time. But let's talk about let's get into it, man. It's time to get into what we're actually here to talk about.
If you skipped ahead from the sports talk, welcome. Now it's the Resident Evil 7 discussion.
Some guys like, man, they're still talking about baseball video games. Bunch of old men in here being like, back in my day, sports games allowed you to hit home runs with fireballs after them. This is gonna be a weird show.
Anyway,
Resident Evil 7. We had a ball talking about Resident Evil 7 last week, 2 weeks ago, And I tell you, this is... First of all, do you remember the Reddit user who gave us the stopping point for this?
I can go look it up if you fill time.
I'll fill some time. Because that guy gave us the perfect stopping point.
Yes, he really did.
He really, he said he played it over 100 hours.
I believe him.
If he did, then he really nailed the exact stopping point, because I give him a ton of credit.
Section none on
Reddit. You're a freaking hero, man. You did a great job. So, we stopped last time as we were entering Lucas's playhouse / his little bunker.
We had finished the happy birthday tape right before going in to kind of set the tone for the next section.
This whole section really feels a lot different from the previous section.
It felt like I was playing a completely different game.
This is... I talked about how, like, as a big veteran of the series, this game didn't feel like a Resident Evil game to me. When you enter Lucas's playhouse, and then really once you leave Lucas's playhouse, this is straight up a Resident Evil video game. Like, the whole Tanker section and then the salt mines and stuff, that's a Resident Evil game. No questions asked.
This game is kind of relatively similarly structured to Resident Evil 1. Because in 1, half the game is in the house. Then the minute you leave the house and then go to the shack outside the house, it becomes a completely different feel. The only difference is you have to go... In Resident Evil 1, you have to go back to the house with all the stuff that you collected, so you can go underneath the house for the final section of the game, because that leads to the labs and so on and so forth. There's always a halfway point in early Resident Evils that usually a halfway point in these early Resident Evils that separates the first half from the second half. The difference is, in those early Resident Evils, it's still very much a horror game. This second half of Resident Evil 7 is an action game with some survival horror elements.
You hit it right on the head with the whole separation part, because like in RE2, you're in the police station for half of it, and then you eventually move to the underground umbrella facility. Mm-hmm. RE3 kind of is a little bit more broken up in my mind, because you go from the streets of Raccoon City to the power plant thing. There's like a little bit more broken up. I wouldn't say it's as clear, but it's still very much like there was like a halfway point.
4 is 4. It does 4's thing.
4 is just still amazing. I would give my definitive Resident Evil ranking at the end of this show, as a fan who's now played 1 through 7 and a couple of the spin-offs. One thing I really liked about this we talked about this was going to be Saul when we said it, because after the happy birthday tape, we're like, this is going to be the Saul portion of the game. It was
kind of,
and it wasn't.
Yeah,
we do have a lot of traps, those fucking boxes that blow up, man. Because especially at the beginning of this, I didn't have a ton of ammunition, so I didn't want to just shoot the boxes. So like I had been just pulling out my knife and hitting it with my knife to get into them.
At this point, I had so much gunpowder because I was hoarding those gunpowders. I wasn't hoarding ammunition, I was hoarding gunpowders. So I had enough backup ammunition to where I could just shoot the boxes from a safe distance. I stopped knifing them at a certain point, so I was just like, I'm just going to stand back and shoot them because I have plenty of gunpowder.
I really wish I did the same thing, because I think I made too many of the... I did a lot of stuff with the grenade launcher, thinking I was going to need all of those, and I never used the grenade launcher.
I barely used the grenade launcher in the game. The only time I did was for the 2 boss fights in this section.
I didn't even use it for either of the boss fights. To be honest with you, once I fixed the broken shotgun, which turns it into the double barrel.
The double barrel, yeah.
That's over under shotgun. This is probably in my mind the best weapon in the game. That's when I really, like I said, I didn't really use much other. And the pistol, the M1911 upgraded pistol, really stays useful throughout the entire game, especially with the enhanced ammunition. You can take out the modal guys, no problem with that thing.
Yeah.
When you enter the Lucas's Playhouse stuff, this section is kind of, in my mind, sort of a little bit slow until you get into recreating the happy birthday tape.
That is an awesome section because you have to figure out in your mind, like, okay, you had to play it like backwards in your head. Like, how did I die? What went wrong? And it all goes wrong with that stupid clown. So you're like, how do I avoid the clown at all costs? And you're like, oh, I remember the password to get in the room.
That's such a freaking smart thing, too. We bragged a lot, and I'm gonna brag on this multiple times. In my notes, I put multiple times how the tapes are such a smart way of teaching the player, because it does the same thing with Mia, where it teaches you in the Mia tape.
Mm-hmm.
But how it teaches you, like, hey, you've seen how this goes and how this plays out. Now we're going to use that to our advantage to keep us from having to, fall into the mistakes that the cameraman made. So instead of getting the loser ingrained onto your arm, you just remember that's the password. Instead, and you fly through that section. And what I like about it so much is, Lucas has been harassing you all the way up to the point. There's a couple of times where he tries to trick you, like at the door, he gives you fake passwords over and over again, and then he triggers a trap. So if you stand there and you keep talking to him, you're going to get hit by this like swinging blade thing.
Oh, I missed that.
You didn't do that?
I didn't do that, no.
Okay, when you go to the gate that takes you into the happy birthday section.
Yeah, I know he's feeding you fake passwords.
Yeah, but if you keep standing there, eventually it's going to have a blade thing come down.
Oh.
And you're going to get hit. So you can't just keep... There's no way of faking your way into the room.
And the entire section before you get to the happy birthday room is like laced with... There's a lot of tripwire around, so you kind of got to navigate that. And then you get the passcode from the burnt, charred body of the cameraman.
Yeah, you find it.
The passcode is 1408, which is a great Stephen King reference.
Yeah, it's
I was like,
yeah, what movie is that from?
1408.
Is that from the movie?
That's 1408.
Is that the one about the Kennedy assassination stuff?
No. That's 1122. That's
11. Okay.
He likes his numbers. That's the one about the haunted hotel room, and Samuel L. Jackson's like, you better stay out of 1408.
Okay.
I only saw the trailer like once. That's probably not the line.
That probably not. It probably like, yeah, listen, motherfucker, stay out of fucking 1408. I'm so tired of these fucking snakes with this fucking blade. No, yeah, like, I love the tape gimmick. I really do. And the fact that, like, hey, when you find that charred body, you instantly know who that is and what's happened to him. But I really love... And like I said, I know we're skipping some gameplay stuff, but it's really just navigating the little bunker place. Other than... Oh, there is one detail I do want to bring up. There's occasionally times when you watch videotapes and the audio gets desynced from the video. Is that something you noticed by chance?
I did not notice that at all.
On the videotape that you get when you initially go into the bunker, you sit down in a chair in front of like an old TV,
mm-hmm.
and it plays a tape from Lucas, and the audio about halfway through gets desynced. And I didn't notice if that was... at first I was like, is this my freaking TV messing up? But nothing else had that happen. So I think it was actually an effect on the game itself that it's like the audio gets desynced on the tape.
That's kind of cool.
Which is something that...
I wouldn't put it past this game.
Yeah, it's very wet. It's just a little detail I noticed. But that whole section is kind of just teaser to when you get into the bunker with the happy birthday stuff. And yeah, like, I knew what was going to happen, but like the initial part where the lights are out and you're just walking through with the candle until the lights all flick on to you after the candle gets knocked out is just still, even though you know what's coming, it's just like, it still has the intensity level that they keep up. But when you complete that whole thing without having to play Lucas's game, my favorite thing is, like, you can tell it throws him off because he freaks the hell out. Like, and he eventually just throws a piece of dynamite in there and try to kill you.
And you just throw it back.
Yeah, you just throw it back. But what I like about it is, like, it makes you wonder, like, how often has Lucas done this? Like, is this, like, just a process he does with multiple people? Because you can tell the moment he has a system to it, and the moment that Ethan tricks him and, like, beats the system, he just, like, does not know what the hell to do. Like, you never fight Lucas head on in the Ethan story. Like, you don't even finish off Lucas in this. So, like, the concept that the moment you best him at the happy birthday stuff, that's your way of beating him.
Mm-hmm.
That's his boss fight, quote unquote, for this. And it was just kind of weird because I thought this was going to follow the formula of Margaret and Jack, where you were going to deal with them and then have a big boss fight.
Or have a persistent enemy throughout. But right in this entire second half, there's no persistent enemy.
No.
At
This
all.
all. Well, I guess you could say Evelyn becomes the persistent enemy, maybe.
She doesn't stalk you, though. You're like, she's the end goal.
Yeah. She's the main protagonist, but not antagonist. But not the main.
If you stand around, she's not going to come and kill you.
Yeah, you don't have to get chased by her, which I think is kind of why this section is a little bit less intense. Because in the first playthrough part, we're just constantly being chased by Margaret or Jack or whatever. Here, we don't really have that ever-present threat, so I feel it's a little bit less intense in this second part. But I like that when you best him at that game, one of my favorite sections is you come through the hole in the wall you make into a save room, and the computer chair at the monitors is spinning when you walk in, like he just got up and bailed. But like it was such a really like satisfying thing for me to kind of walk in there and be like, motherfucker, you better run.
It's more satisfying because over killing Jack and Margaret was satisfying, but seeing Lucas like lose just was,
because he's such a smug bastard.
He really is. Like, he's taunting you this whole game, and the point where all of a sudden you're the thing he's scared of. This entire game is all about like beating you down with, at least the first half, beating you down with fear, and to the point where it's flipped, and all of a sudden like you're the thing he's scared of is so good.
Well, it fits well into Lucas as a character because he's not a guy who can take you on head on. Like, Ethan at this point is actually kind of becoming more competent, right? Like, he's dealt with Jack multiple times. He's dealt with Margaret in big spider form.
He'll deal with Jack again.
So, like, you feel like he's getting to be more competent. Can you hit the light? We're going to hit the light real quick because it's too dark in here, man. Can't be talking about RE7 in the dark.
Do you want me to cut that bit out?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's a late night show, people. You got to deal with these things. But, yeah, like it fits Lucas that you have to deal with this insane kind of creepiness. When you best him at that game, and that's kind of like his exit from the story. Now, we'll talk about this at the end, but there is a DLC that deals with Lucas. Mm-hmm. And you'll see references from him throughout the rest of this game. But this comes to kind of like what our main end goal has been since the start of the bunker, which is getting to Mia and Zoe, who were kidnapped by Lucas. And we did a little experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And because Michael got to this section first, Michael got to pick how he wanted to do this. But before we get into that, I'm not sore at all about this, guys. Not mad. Not mad at all. Not mad at all. Stares at co-host.
I made Eric get the bad ending.
I had the bad ending. We'll talk about this as we go, though. When you get to Zoe and Mia, you have collected, obviously, all the stuff Zoe needed to make a serum. Did the game ever really explain how Zoe knew how to make that serum?
There is a bit near the end where you have the vial. Yes. And it's the thing that mixes it to create the serum. So it's just a kit. You have like the pieces you need. You put it in. You put the vial in, and then all of a sudden you have a serum.
Yeah. Okay. I guess
it's Resident Evil science.
Well, I guess also
you put this thing with this thing, and all of a sudden here you get another thing.
I guess also it is explained on like the inside the kit, because when you do that serum in the second half, it has like an explanation thing on top of like the case. So I guess she could have just read that. But when you rescue Mia and you rescue Zoe, you get 2 vials. One for Mia, one for Zoe.
What could possibly go wrong here?
Yeah, what could go wrong? And when you're about to administer those 2 vials...
Good old Jack.
Freaking Jack shows back up again. And I ain't gonna lie, this actually took me back because I actually thought he was dead.
Same.
Like, the game has shown us like 5 times that Jack's not killable, and like I had bought into it completely. I was like, what chainsaw that fool? He's dead. Yeah, he can take a bullet to the head, but he can't take a chainsaw to the head. Come on, that's crazy.
Not only to the head, he took a chainsaw to his entire lower half.
And he comes back in like classic. Know how we were talking about RE8, and I had said how everyone's freaking out about Tall Vampire Lady, and I was like, she's just gonna be a giant spider monster by the second half of the game. We finally got to get a couple more classic RE giant monster things, and Jack is in like classic Resident Evil big-eyed morphed up monster thing. How did you feel about this boss fight? I like the premise, but some of those eyes were stuck in such difficult to get to places. I had I knew how to beat them, but I had a hard time just getting them in a position to shoot the eyeball.
The last one was difficult for me because it was like on his side next, like had to like find my way like around like those tentacle things to get to it. And at that point, I just had pistol ammo, so I was hoping, I was like, please be the one. And then like I only had a couple bullets left and finally nailed it down. So that boss fight was really tense. I really liked that fight a lot.
I like how it's in multiple stages too, where like it's like you've got the water and then you've got the upper part of I guess like the barn or the bunker there.
He straight up slaps me down like right away.
Yeah, he
into the lake bit the first time.
Well, I think that's like almost like a staged thing that he does that.
Oh, okay.
Because
I thought it was just bad.
No, I got hit like that too. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But he will do it again too. He'll hit you from the top level and knock you down to the bottom. But it's a cool little concept of like having to bait him up top so you can jump back down and try to get underneath him to shoot the eyes on the bottom of him. He's basically like a slug. But
pretty much, yeah.
In like the way the game teaches you how to kill these guys, the Zoe basically yells out towards the end of the boss that you have to stab him with the serum.
And then right away you're like, oh no, this is how it's gonna go, isn't it?
I knew there was no way you were all going to be okay. Now my theory was, if you remember last time, that I thought Ethan was also infected. Because I said, well, how did Ethan grow his hand back? Or get his hand just like reattached?
That's never explained.
It's just never explained.
Staples is all you need.
Yeah, like I'm still a little sore that no one talked about the fact that they just stapled his hand back on there. That needs some explanation. So that was my theory. I was like, okay, he's infected, so like he's gonna need one of the serums on himself. But no, use it to finally kill Jack. And this leads to like the big choice, in which my co-host here picked first. So let's go through who we picked here, Michael. Who did you pick?
After a little bit of head deliberation, I was just bothered by the fact that I was like, why aren't we discussing this? Like they're just looking at me with like really sad eyes, and I'm like, why can't we talk about this, guys?
There should have been like a conversation. Well, okay, who did you pick?
I picked Mia.
Of course you did. And you know what that made me do?
You picked Zoe.
I had to pick Zoe. And what happens, Michael, when you pick Mia?
You get on the boat with Mia. She hugs Zoe and says, I'm sorry, we'll come back for you. And Zoe says, it's too late for me. I will never leave this place. And she's like, I guess I'm stuck here. I guess I'm destined not to leave. Just to hurt a little bit, going like, well, I feel bad for leaving her behind.
Okay, you feel bad about leaving her behind, but see, Michael, because my friend, you made me pick Zoe. Instead, my Ethan stabs the woman he's been talking on the phone for a day to, not the wife that he came all the way to Louisiana after missing for multiple years. In which Mia just goes like, seriously? And his excuse is, I'm sorry, she can lead us out of here or I'll come back for you. Like, it makes Ethan look like a freaking dick. Like, I literally... Now, there is some other changes, I believe, at the ending, I know.
Yeah.
But, Michael, yeah, like, that feels... Like, I don't know... Now, I did it, obviously, for the show. Like, you know, we'll put the jokes aside. But, like, if I was playing through this, I don't know what the appeal of selecting Zoe would be.
A part of me was like trying to figure out how to game the system. I was like, all right, let's figured this out for a bit. I was like, all right, I haven't seen Zoe turn crazy. Mia stabbed me with a screwdriver and cut off my hands. So far, Zoe, who's affected with the same thing, didn't do any of that yet. So I was like, ooh, is there a bit where Mia's too far gone and Zoe is actually one who can actually be saved? So I was just going back and forth in my head. Then I was like, well, Zoe did help me get out of here and everything, but I was like, Mia's my wife, and so I had to go like with my gut and chose Mia. So I was trying to be like, trying to overthink the decision.
I want to say that canonically, your decision is the like canonical one.
That makes sense, depending on how this game leaves off, because it leaves off in a space where, well, we'll get to.
Yeah, I think yours is the canonical one. I feel really dissatisfied with how my ending played out, and we'll talk about this. And like, this is jokes aside. Like, I feel like the Zoe choice gives you a less satisfying experience throughout the rest of this game. So for me, I leave on the boat with Zoe. And Mia stays behind, and she's very upset, obviously. We get the boat ride that you describe, where Zoe just, like, talks about, like, Mia coming to the house with a little Gar, and the family slowly kind of disintegrating into what they've become. And then you are attacked by Evelyn outside of the Tankle ship, in which Ethan wants to go investigate the Tankle ship, which felt weird. And then Zoe disappears from the story.
Wait, so you're playing as Ethan during this part?
Wait, no, let me clarify. When you get attacked, Mia magically pops up at the boat.
What?
It's almost.
What?
Yeah, this is why I was saying that it's not a very satisfying choice.
Okay.
Because Zoe is who I leave with. I get the ambush outside the Tankle happens, which I imagine happened in yours.
Yeah.
But then instead of waking up as Zoe or waking up as Ethan, you wake up as Mia at the Tankle. You know, Mia, who I just left at the boathouse back in the house.
Yeah.
It feels like,
because
in a game that's giving you a choice, like, you have to live with this repercussion, it was like, you have to live with this repercussion until we don't want you to have to live with it, and now here's Mia again. And it really...
Voice acting is very expensive. We can't have Zoe voice act this entire section.
But like, think about it. It wouldn't make any sense for Zoe to be in that section. Mm-hmm. Especially with the birthday. I mean, with the tape. Like, the tape is all about Mia's experience on the boat.
Yeah.
It makes no sense for this section to be from Zoe's perspective.
It's almost like, why give me the choice?
Why not?
Or why not just put an instant game over there and like, ha, you picked a bad choice. Okay, seriously, pick the right choice this time.
Almost like, what game did that? There was a video game recently that you can... Katana Zero did that for me. There's a section in which there's these two cosmic characters who you're having to make a choice. And the actual game choice is to say, no, I'm going to like take life, and you continue the story. But if you die to preserve the safety of this child that you've kind of taken under your wing, you die, and the game rolls credits, and then it says, well, congratulations, you beat the game, kind of. It gives you an achievement for it, and then puts you back at that choice so you can pick the game that continues part. This instead just goes like, hey, you were a dick, and you picked Zoe instead of your wife. But here's the game again. It really bummed me out because like,
I feel bad for because I was thinking, this is going to be a really big split. That'd be cool for us to see all of the content. And now I just feel like the gatekeeper. Haha, I got the good ending and you didn't.
Well, there's one thing I got to ask you when we get to though.
Okay.
So maybe there is a change.
Okay.
Zoe disappears. Like, she will not pop back up in my video game. Which is really weird. I feel like this is a bad ending.
That is very strange.
It's not a bad ending in like I did a bad choice. It feels like it's almost like the developer sat there and like, nobody's going to pick Zoe, and they're like, if that's the case, don't give me the choice. Just let Mia be the one who goes with me. Just make it a cutscene where Ethan gives it to Mia instead of Zoe, and let Zoe have her moment. Like, I feel really, really weird that this game decides to make this a choice.
That's a very Japanese game thing too, where like it's a relatively false choice. Like, to go back to Persona, in Persona 4, there is a bit where you can just say, near the end of the game where you do the fake solving of the mystery, and you as the character could be like, something doesn't seem right, or you can just say, oh, we did it, and then it skips to the last semester of the game being, well, we solved the mystery, bye guys.
It's like the lazy man option. It's like,
Kind of like,
we could just go home.
we did it, guys.
It feels really weird.
It's a very like Japanese game thing to have, or at least get some Japanese games I played to just have a fake like non-choice like that.
But this one feels like, all in all, it really put me a damper on the experience a little bit. Because all in all, I think this is an extremely well-written video game.
Yeah.
And I feel like that choice should not have been there, and it should just give it to Mia and let me continue. Just my opinion. But, so I wake up as Mia. Do you wake up as Mia?
Yes, with Ethan captured.
Okay, this is also a very Resident Evil thing of you having multiple characters that you play as.
This is the B scenario.
Yeah, it's the B scenario. It's Claire's story or Jill's story or whatever that guy in RE3 Remake story is. I forget.
The guy with the cool hair.
He's got cool hair. He's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
I never played 3, so I just know the box art.
Well, you only play him as in the remake. I don't think in 3 you ever actually play as him in standard version.
Bummer.
Yeah, it's remake's pretty cool though. But how did you feel as playing as Mia? Because I actually really enjoyed that.
I liked it, and this is the part where the game kind of becomes... Well, the game is still very much like the first half of Resident Evil 7 for the first bit of this tanker until you get to the videotape. Like, you're trying to work your way up the stairs to try to find Ethan, and you are very low on ammunition during this section. It kind of goes back to feeling more like an adventure game where you're trying to find the pieces to advance forward.
You don't even get a gun until way deep into this section.
So the bit that actually feels like really like pressing is when you're dealing with this stuff. Last time that the motors are actually scary.
Yeah, because at this point forward, once you
when the game hands you an assault rifle, it does not feel like a horror game anymore for the rest of this game.
When you get the submachine gun, it's not... Yeah, going is the horror game section. Are you aware of a video game called Cold Fear?
That sounds familiar, but I can't place it in my mind.
Okay, Cold Fear is a PlayStation 2 survival horror game that came out right around the time that Resident Evil 4 came out, in which you played as a member of the Coast Guard on a ship. It was basically like a Resident Evil 4 clone, but set on this like ship in the Arctic, and you played as a guy from the Coast Guard.
So it was like behind the back? And
yeah,
everything?
third person. Wow. It looked like it was RE4 clone. And it actually was surprisingly kind of cool. I remember getting kind of excited about it. It was like the back cover ad for like every video game magazine for like 3 months straight. And I rented it, I believe, for the PlayStation 2. And I remember it being kind of damn cool. And now some of this is like... Resident Evil 4 is my top 3 favorite video games of all time. So maybe it's just like... It's kind of like Resident Evil 4.
Spoilers for the list coming up at the end of this video.
Who knows? I said top 3.
Ooh.
Oh. Who knows? Somebody out there knows. But... This section is very much like it because you're back to like gaining equipment just to get yourself into things, and you don't have a gun. Weird thing is, Ethan's a blonde.
Yeah, that kind of threw me off.
I didn't think Ethan was blonde. He didn't look like who I thought he looked like. I kind of wish you didn't see him as much because like I had very much that whole like self-insert character thing going in the back of my head. Where I was like,
that's why you were complimenting him, like, he's really cool.
Yeah,
you're like, he's me.
It's just me. It's just me.
that was the secret all along.
It was a secret all along. I'm just arrogantly thinking, yeah, it's just me. It's cool. But this is when we get into also, it really kind of pulls Evelyn back from being what in the first part of the game was probably the scariest part of it. Like I talked about that shadow that runs across at one point that scared the flip out of me.
Yep.
When she becomes like a bio monster, it's not as scary. But this is basically where we learn why Mia was tied to this whole thing. And it really is when it starts doing the info dump of, let's explain this entire situation, what happened here.
Because even before this, like, there's the whole mystery of, like, how this giant ship get into the middle of this swamp thing. Yeah. And then, don't worry, you'll figure that out. You'll figure out the mystery of this game even, like, before they start feeding it to you, because once everything connects, then you're like, oh, okay, this all makes sense.
Which is kind of good, though, to be honest with you. It's a more it's natural. You should figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like I never have a problem with stories that I figure out the ending before the ending, because if an ending is logical a lot of times,
you'll piece it together in your mind. You'll piece
it together in your own mind. Like, one of my favorite Warhammer book series is Eisenhorn, and, like, a lot of that stuff I figured out before it happens, because it just makes logical sense. And that's not a bad story. It just makes sense. When Mia shows up, you basically learn that Evelyn is a bioweapon created by shadowy organization that probably used to be Umbrella. One thing this had to remind me of is Umbrella in the lore, because 6 happened. And they apparently are acknowledging 6. You want to get in some Resident Evil lore, Michael?
They're a private military corporation.
They're now a private military corporation.
Led by Chris Redfield?
Chris Redfield is recruited by them for this operation. Chris Redfield is with a biological weapons prevention team that helps it fights in Hong Kong, I think, in Resident Evil 6.
So why is he with Umbrella?
Because they recruit him for this particular mission, and he doesn't really trust them. Because if you played
I wonder why he doesn't trust Umbrella.
But, like, now Umbrella's gone legit as a private military corporation.
That's the most legit business. What are you
nothing it's never bit us in the butt before.
6 Days in Fallujah coming out really soon.
Oh, gee. I'm going to play that.
Moving on from that.
No, I'm going to talk about that on the show. But I forgot that Umbrella isn't, like, a thing that's doing this stuff anymore. You know, now it's like Fallout of Umbrella and the shady corporation. No one knows what it is. Because I was just thinking, oh, Umbrella, but then I was like, oh yeah, crap, Resident Evil 6 happened. But this Taco ship was basically transporting Evelyn, who is she's a walking bioweapon. She was being transported to the South American lab because there was fears of her being grabbed, like snatched by another corporation or organization, which really was kind of a cool thing, because like, oh, is there like were they feared that like Umbrella's new organization was coming down on them or something? You know, what was going on there? But Mia, we talked about how Mia kept saying it was a babysitting job, and you said you thought it was a physical babysitting job, and I was like, no, it's a task.
We're half right.
We're both right. Yeah, like,
pretty much.
It is a physical babysitting job and a task. She's basically the handler for Evelyn.
To the point where she even calls her mommy, and is like very protective of her.
Well, Evelyn, the game exposes that Evelyn has developed an obsession. Evelyn is not a child, which is something the game kind of hits at the end. Mm-hmm. She is a stage of the weapon. She's like the 4th stage of this weapon development. So she's not a physical child, and she has developed, contrary to what they thought would happen, an obsession with family, and has kind of imprinted the mother role onto Mia. And Mia was playing along with that because they were Mia and this other guy was basically playing father and mother to Evelyn to try to help navigate this quest to get her to a different facility, basically. I like this section of going through the boat ahead of time, and then the tape is a freaking cool part of this game. Because basically Evelyn makes Mia watch the tape, I guess, to try to...
It's to catch the player up on what happened from a narrative perspective. I can't remember what she says. Why
she's like
you must remember what you did to me.
Yeah, like I guess Mia forgot. I don't know.
It's just to fill in the player information. From a narrative perspective, it doesn't make any sense really at all.
But this section is really, really cool.
Oh yeah,
it's a long ass section. Like you play as Mia, during the events of the ship getting taken down for a long time. But this is when you straight up get an assault rifle.
This is where the game becomes an action game from here to the very end, pretty much.
You want to know what?
Not a bad way at all. It's still a good game, but
know what feels really weird?
What's that?
It took me almost to the end of the game to realize that the watch that you wear during the Mia flashback is the watch that Ethan's wearing. I didn't realize it because you have a watch during the Mia flashback that is tracking Evelyn's location. It's basically like feet into Evelyn.
Oh, and since Mia goes to the homestead, that explains why. Gotcha. Okay.
No, when Ethan gets his hand chopped off,
yeah,
he's coming in and out of consciousness. Before you wake up at the dinner table, there's a section in which someone stacks that watch onto your arm. So I'm assuming Mia does it while you're half out.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I wonder if that's the reason. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but like that is the watch that you are wearing, which is why it opens up the case at the end. Because it is Mia's like watch that she was using during her operation. Mm-hmm. So fun little Easter egg I didn't realize until I got to the end, and when he uses it to open the case, it's like, oh shit, that was Mia's watch. Mm-hmm. Even though it shows it to you over and over again during that whole section.
Or you could just assume everybody has these watches because everybody needs to keep track of their heart meter to make sure they don't need any herbs. Like where I'm at this morning, like it'll beep like an Apple Watch saying, "You're low, you need some herbs."
Does the Apple Watch have an app that lets you turn it into a Resident Evil watch?
Probably.
That would be cool.
I imagine so.
My
wife has one where if you click it, it's Mickey Mouse telling her time.
That's not nearly as cool as it being a Resident Evil watch.
I want that now.
Make it a Resident Evil. Can we develop an app? How easy is it to develop an app? Michael, can we develop an app?
You're talking to the wrong guy. I have no clue.
Anybody wants to get in the app business with me, send an email to stateofthesave@gmail.com. We can't call it the Resident Evil app. We'll have to call it like Home Fear app. It's a development name, guys, and we're all working on it.
Biohazard with 4 Z's.
Biohazard. That's such a dumb name. Somewhere out there is a video game called Biohazard.
Biohazard.
People hate when I laugh.
We're past the tipping point. This is
It's been a long day, y'all.
Much like Resident Evil 7 changes tones, this podcast is changing tones.
Now we're just like, hey guys, you want to develop an app? So this whole section is very classic Resident Evil. You get some new weapons and stuff.
I love the bit where it ties to the very beginning of this game where you are now playing as Mia when you get to the recording saying, hey, Ethan, if you get this message, don't come here. That was such a really good bit.
Well, I like it also because, like, at that point in the story, they did the job so well of, like, really showing you, like, that's the point in the story in which you have successfully, reached your breaking point. Because she's lost control of Evelyn at that point. So you can kind of tell, like, this is it. Like Mia's probably thinking she's about to die. But also there's cool stuff like, okay, remember the fuse we had to get when we first came onto the boat? Mm-hmm. You pull that fuse from the same box when you come back out of the tape.
And a lot has changed because you can use the I forget what it's called, the inflammatory fluid to like open safes.
Yeah,
and then when you go back, those safes that you used on it are open. Like you can just miss those, but because it's like a place and time thing, it's like, oh, you've already opened these.
It's like how I said that during the first videotape with the cameraman, you could use a lockpick on something for Ethan. It's just like.
And you were saying in Resident Evil 2 as well, like you can, if you grab the ammo packets in the A campaign, in some cases they're not there in the B campaign.
Well, and like also like in like the remake, especially like the B campaign has different doors opened and stuff because it's like Leon's already been through there or whatever. It just feels like it makes it a more
time has passed. This is a single location where time has passed,
and like actions in the past actually mattered and affected the present. Mm-hmm. I really like the tape also because this is like when you really get to see Mia is capable. Because Mia in the first part is just like your scared wife who also happens to be possessed. And it's like, no, Mia's like almost like an agent, like a secret agent or something. Like she's a very capable human being. And I mean, she's down in molders much more efficient than Ethan is. You know, she's out there with a submachine gun dropping molders left and freaking right.
You find out that throughout this whole campaign, she's not the damsel in distress. Ethan's the one who needs to be saved. He's the one stuck at this house that she needs to like that her and Zoe kind of have to lead out. Like Ethan would be screwed without Zoe, and then the second portion he needs Mia. So kind of Ethan's kind of the damsel in distress. In
because like Mia's trained. Like you kind of get the feeling because Mia's like starts off this flashback with a submachine gun.
And she knows what to do with it.
Yeah, she knows what to do, and she's not like, I don't know, she's not acting scared. Like, she's very capable at that part. Now, after the events of the boat, she's freaked out, because of course she would be, because she's lost control of the situation. But on the boat during the flashback, she's still kind of like very controlled, because it's like, we can still stop this. We can salvage this. Like, the guy that you're teamed up with, I guess, like, her partner or whatever, like, there's a lot of conversations, like, we can just gain control of it, get Evelyn, and, like, you can read your orders, and, like, the orders are, like, maintain Evelyn's composure and keep her, there, but, if necessary, take her out. And, like, so, like, Mia's kind of a cold-hearted killer.
She's like, oh, well, time to go to scenario 2.
Yeah, she's
Pump
like...
shotgun or something.
Yeah, it's like, okay, now we're going to have to kill this freaking bioweapon. And then what I love is when you come out of that flashback and Evelyn basically is like, she basically uses it as like, hey, now we can be a family. See, we were a family. And Mia just straight up like, there's no attempting to play along. Mia's like, we are not a family. I will never be your family. You're a monster. Like, I was like, Mia, come on. It's
like the
Ring. Is
there
a safer way to play this?
It's like the main character's character arc in The Ring, where she's obsessed with finding a mommy, and she's like, no.
Yeah, it's kind of, she's the kid from The Ring.
Pretty much.
I can't be too mad about, because like the Fear games ripped that off a long time ago. You play the Fear franchise?
As scared as I was the first half of this game, do you think I would voluntarily pick up something called Fear and be like, yeah, this sounds like a good time?
There's some stuff that happens in that franchise.
I heard some crazy stuff.
There's some stuff that happens.
I know there's a guy in a military suit and a girl on fire, and that's all I know about Fear.
It goes from being about like a little creepy little girl, like in The Ring, to like, there's some stuff. There's some stuff in that franchise.
It's called Fear. Stuff. It's not called Sunshine and Rainbows.
Yeah, Fear 1 and 2 is actually pretty good video games. Fear 3 is a piece of shit. But we digress. Then basically after the videotape, you do like a run through of the whole place, and it does that same thing the videotapes do. I even wrote down my notes somewhere that I was like, hey, once again, the videotapes continue to teach you stuff.
You know the layout of the land. You know
the layout. You know where everything's at. You know where the fuse you need is because you used it in the flashback. Mm-hmm. Just a freaking great section as you basically are going off to rescue Ethan. Really long section. Like maybe 1/5 of the game is played as Mia, maybe?
At the same time, I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about here because it's just a big puzzle box like we've seen before. But it's very like fun to play. Like it's the classic, like I know what I need to do at every moment. At the beginning of this, it's kind of like you don't know immediately you need the fuse. You got to kind of figure that out. But once you get the fuse, everything falls into place. It's like, I need the fuse. Okay, I need to find more of the fluid things. And it was like, there's a locked door here. So you go through the locked door. You find a back way into like the locked door to get the fluid things. And then you're pretty much set from then on out.
Also, there's a cool puzzle in here with some moving some paintings.
Oh yeah, that was cool.
Just fun little classic Resident Evil puzzle. This is there's not a lot to talk about.
And that's where you get the machine gun, because you know that like you can probably just miss it because it's optional. But at that point in the game, it was like, I know she has a machine gun. The machine gun's here somewhere. I'm going to find it.
I might get me that machine gun. One thing that I think is kind of cool is you get to Ethan. We're gonna kind of jump because, like you said, there's not a lot to talk about here, but it is a good section. Mm-hmm. You rescue Ethan, and you break into like Ethan's little cocoon as you're talking about, as you're talking to Evelyn, and then for me, I had to kill Mia.
Okay. Oh, because she was still infected.
She was still infected, so she shoves you a little bit. She tells you to run, but there's nowhere for you to go. And as Evelyn basically goats her into turning back into like her possessed version.
Oh.
And there's a crowbar, and you have to kill Mia.
Did you get the scene with Jack here?
Yes.
Where,
because you have a scene where like Jack talks to you.
Like the mode is like it's like a computer server where everybody's connected and can just communicate with each other. Where it's just like, hey, I'm going to talk to you about what happened. Jack seems like a very nice dude. He was like, hey, your wife came in with this little girl and we thought we'd take care of her and everything. And you're like, Jack's an actual nice guy.
Well, he even says like, I ain't a killer boy, you know, like his voice tones change, you know, he's just like, I never would have wanted to hurt you. I didn't want to hurt you. Zoe
yeah, but we had a sick chainsaw fight, right? Yeah. Didn't we? That was cool.
That would be kind of funny. It was like, it was pretty freaking cool though, wasn't it? Zoe's in the room for me. Was she in the room for you?
No.
Zoe's in the room and she just walks around the room a little bit. Like as Jack talks.
Makes sense because she's still connected to the
she shouldn't be.
Mold. At your point in the game, yes, she should be because she's
I gave her the thing.
You gave her the thing at this point?
Zoe.
Oh, Zoe's in the room.
Yeah, Zoe is. Why is Zoe in the room?
She might be. I probably just didn't notice because I was so infixed with Jackson.
Like, because I was watching them, because I was so confused at this point. Zoe disappeared from the story. And I was like, okay, Zoe's here, but why is she here with Jack? And then I was like, well, both of them were cured. So why is that? It was very confusing why Zoe was there. I enjoy this section because, one, you get to see Jack who he was. And we talked about that last time, how like you see bits and pieces of the family before this, and you realize like Jack was a Marine. He was a football player in high school. Like, this was a human being. And it's like he's talking. He's like, he's a generally seems like a nice guy. And you're like, oh, this is all Evelyn's fault. But Zoe just disappears from this game. Now, did you have to kill Mia? Because Mia wouldn't have been possessed with you.
What happens is once Ethan gets freed, Evelyn comes and tries to like goat her to turning back, but she can't. So Evelyn pushes you out of the room and locks it and goes, go, I will deal with her. So she...
Evelyn or Mia?
Mia throws you out of the room.
Okay.
Sorry, did I misspeak there?
Yeah,
I apologize. So, Mia throws you out of the room and locks the door and says, go, I will deal with her. You get out of here. And so it's like a moment of sacrifice. They like look at each other and like, all right, well, I don't want to leave you, but one of us has to get out. And she's already made her decision. She's locked the door and was like, I'm going to deal with this.
Your section is so much better because when I get taken out of the cocoon, Mia turns into Psycho Mia and she has a knife.
Oh, good.
And she's like chasing you, being like, did you have a good time with your whore? Because she's talking about Zoe. And like she's stabbing you and it doesn't do hardly any damage. So like I didn't see the crowbar at first. So I was just running around the room trying to get outdoors to run away from Mia. And it wouldn't let me out. And I kept getting stabbed, but like the damage was so low that like it was weird. And I grabbed the crowbar. I finally found the crowbar and I was like, oh shit, I gotta kill Mia. And I kill Mia and it's such a... if you pick Zoe, Ethan comes out of this game like an asshole. Like, he comes out like a selfish asshole who was, like, doing everything he could to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he picked Zoe because Zoe could get him out of there easier because he knew Zoe knew the surrounding area. He kills Mia after Mia goes through hell to save him. And then, like, you leave the room after you kill Mia, and he's just like, okay, I'm going to kill that freaking little bitch. And it's like...
Mia says that line to you.
She like, I'm gonna kill that fucking bitch.
No, she says you go and kill her.
Oh, okay. Like, your ending's so much fucking better, dude.
Yeah,
like, I mean, and like,
I feel bad for ripping that from you, because you being a bigger fan of this franchise than I am. I'm like, I feel like I stole the good ending from you.
I'm gonna go watch your ending just so I know what it is. And in my mind, that's the ending. Like in my mind, Mia's surviving is the ending because
Absolutely.
my ending kind of sucks in that way, and it didn't ruin the game for me at all. And don't behind the scenes, we were going to do this so we could talk about the different changes, but it definitely is not the canonical ending.
No.
The canonical ending is saving Mia. When you go out, this is when the game goes 0 to 60 action game.
You go to the salt mines, and it becomes follow this linear path.
I was so freaking mad, dude. I missed one of the antique coins, so I couldn't get the Mag 44. I was so mad. I had everything else unlocked.
I was missing 3 by the end of the game, I believe.
Also, weird thing is, you go to the salt mines, and it gives you all of Mia's inventory.
Yep.
Which is kind of odd. Now you have all the stuff Mia had. So here's the submachine gun.
All right, it's the end of the game, so no knife. Here's pistol, grenade launcher, shotgun, and that's what I say, the grenade launcher.
Yeah. You, probably, did you take the Barno?
No. Pistol, assault rifle, shotgun, grenade launcher. That's the 4 items.
I think I took the grenade launcher, the shotgun, the pistol, and the Barno. Gotcha. But at this point, I had so much of that enhanced ammunition for the pistol, that did the job. That pistol with the enhanced ammunition does a good job.
It's almost cathartic because those molders don't scare you anymore.
Well, also they don't come out of scary places. They come head on at you, so you get that moment of especially the climb part where you're going up the mine shaft. Mm-hmm. They're coming straight at you, and you're just gunning them down. As it feels like a very redemption moment.
The hardest bit during this section was whenever it was 2 of I don't know if they have a word, but the more brute guys, the ones that puke at you.
Yeah,
when you have 2 of those.
It's the guy from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, that was the bloater, I think is what they're calling the Left 4 Dead. I think that's
Boomer. Because he's
a boomer. Gotcha.
Yeah, he's a boomer. Before that word had different meanings, but yeah, the boomer because he also explodes when you shoot him.
Yeah, so that was. Oh, we all talked about during the first half is we didn't know if since it doesn't mark if you 100% a room or not, if the game is playing with inventory or something. I found out it is. Because I, like an idiot, accidentally pinned myself into a corner, going up the final ascent in the salt mines. And there was a bit where you go and there's a crate at the end of it. I turn around and the three of the guys are just walking. So it's either throw grenades and blow myself up or try to headshot them. And I missed my headshots, of course, and then died. On the way up, I got assault rifle ammunition. The second time I went up, I got shotgun ammunition. So the game was oh, you died during this section, you want to get through it? Okay, here's shotgun ammunition in place of the assault rifle ammunition.
That's so freaking smart.
So I know that the game is cheating a little bit by giving you different ammunition a bit. It's well, Resident Evil 4 actually has dynamic difficulty. And I feel this kind of, even though it's not quite the same, it's here's a different type of ammunition.
Because isn't in Resident Evil 4, the difficulties is the kind of enemies that might sprout the little monster heads when you blow them off. It's
yes.
So if you're doing well, they'll throw more of those guys at you than the ones who won't.
The encounter rate is higher.
Yeah, there's more enemies if you do well. I love that stuff in games.
There is a Game Maker's Toolkit video on the difficulty of Resident Evil 4. I recommend everybody go watch it if you haven't, because just the way they do difficulty in 4 is amazing. And there's some little semblance of it here. So that made me go, okay, I can see why they don't have, with some of this trickery, I can see why they don't have the 100% things. Because there might be, if you go to a room and it detects you have ammo, I don't know for certain, but it might throw an ammo your way.
Yeah, it might give you an extra here's a little bit help.
Or if you die, it might go, okay, here you go.
Because that's the biggest issue in you shouldn't be able in these games to run around and just drop rounds left and right. But at the same time, you should always feel like you have barely enough supplies to get through it.
That's the balance.
That's the balance, right? I need it. I want to feel oh shit, I have 4 shots. And there's an enemy left, one enemy between me and my next goal, and I have 4 bullets. Between the feeling of I have 1 bullet and that's not enough to kill an enemy. You want to have that perfect, and I imagine it's so freaking hard to do, but you want to have just enough supplies.
Lots of playtesting.
Oh yeah, and this game, say what you want about the Zoe stuff, and I think that's a misstep. This game's still a wonderfully designed video game. One of the best ones I've played in a long time. Also, let's just say that Game Maker's Toolkit is a great YouTube channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you should all go check him out. He does great work over there. I'm not like a designer or anything, but I feel really, really enjoy those videos and learning like the behind the scenes stuff. It's good stuff.
It's so good.
This whole section, there's not much to talk about. It's basically the salt mines are where this
very linear section. It's like you're making your way through hallways to get it back to the house. It's just a way to like guide you, explanation to guide you from not taking a boat back from the swamps. It's like, follow this underground tunnel.
Also, you have helicopters overhead, and there was some talk on the radio about them searching for you. And a voice on the radio that we will soon see who that belongs to.
Yeah. I was going to say I was ready to get out of the salt mines. If you have something else to say. Then...
No, I was just saying that also you learned that Lucas has been walking with the shady organization. Did you read some of those?
I flipped through some of them at this point. I was like, I'm close. What's a gaming podcast?
The lore stuff in there really made me interested. Lucas is not crazy. Well, let me clarify. Lucas is crazy, but he's not infected the way the other ones are.
That makes sense because he seems different than the others.
He's participating in the experiments and stuff that the organization... He's set up his own little experiments. Oh. So he's not like Jack and Margaret, where he's just crazy possessed. He's actually competent. He's on the phone talking to the organization that owns Evelyn, I guess. Mm-hmm. Lucas is scared because Lucas has also been playing into the hands of this corporation. He's working with them.
Gotcha.
Lucas is not as crazy as you thought he was. So Luke, which plays into my mind. Remember when I talked about in his room? I was like, Lucas was always an asshole. Like he was always
all the second place trophies. Like he's always going to try to.
Yeah, but even in his writings before he quote unquote got possessed, he was just a jackass. Lucas is not possessed like the other ones are. He's just an asshole. Like he enjoys this shit, which plays into the DLC we're going to talk about at the end. Mm-hmm. You get out of the salt mines, and this is when you have the confrontation with Evelyn in the house. There's a cool...
You see the wheelchair there, and the old lady's not there.
I realized that right before I was like, we never dealt with that old lady. And then, but there's a portion in which, in Lucas's writings, he talks about this, she's just getting old. Because there's also a lot of talk in those writings about Evelyn is not present here. Mm-hmm. It's all hallucinations to low. The idea of this weapon, it's a bioweapon designed to turn enemy combatants onto the enemies that you're fighting. So you take a POW, instead of having to take prisoners and deal with all the cost of having prisoners, we're getting deep into the reasons behind this. Mm-hmm. The weapon turns them against their comrades, and so you now have basically gained soldiers from your own prisoners that you're taking. Evelyn's process of doing that is by creating a sense of paranoia and fear. So Evelyn's not been there this whole time. Mm. That little girl doesn't exist in this entire game. She's always been that old lady. Because Lucas talks about how she's getting old. She's getting old, and because Lucas sees her without the infection, because he's not.
You find a photograph of the old lady, and on the back it says E00, and we know the E serum was what made Evelyn.
So the whole time you've been walking by Evelyn in that house.
Yep.
Which is a really
cool twist.
Great twist. We all knew something was up with the old lady, but the fact that she's Evelyn the whole time, and it explains why she's sitting weirdly in weird spots and stuff, is a freaking... That's a great twist, man. That's a smart freaking video game decision. Well-written video game.
Mm-hmm. It's like the guy who wrote Spec Ops: The Line knows what he's doing.
We're going to talk about this afterwards, but I want to know if he's written anything else, because he's at the point now I'm kind of like a fan of his work. You break back into the house. There's like a kind of greatest hits of your adventure between you and Mia. You're reliving through visions.
Remember when she cut your hand off? Good
Yeah,
times.
remember she chased you with the chainsaw?
The first time she popped up, that got me. Just like when you turn around and she's like there screaming at in your face. I was like, oh my god, this is...
Or when she grabs your hand when you're approaching Evelyn, and she does the section where she comes out of the closet or the hallway at one point and grabs you like, Ethan. And then she turns possessed all of a sudden. They replay that sequence, and it got me the same time. Man, this is why Mia living is the canonical ending, because this game doesn't make any sense if you don't pick Mia. You get to the end, you stab Evelyn with the needle, which turns her into the old lady form, and then you have a big old classic Resident Evil boss fight.
You fight the house!
You fight the house, man! And my favorite thing is, it's really a simple boss fight.
It's literally a set piece. I got killed the first time. I don't know why. I think I was trying to play it more dodging when I was just like, oh no, I just opened fire and shooting.
I think I had the machine gun on me, so I just emptied it.
I was using the shotgun because I was like, okay, I probably need to shoot the tentacles coming out of these walls first. I was thinking too much into it, and then I found out, oh no, just take the assault rifle and just hold down the button.
The answer to this boss fight is shoot her in the face.
Makes sense.
It's very straightforward.
Very much.
No, but I get what you're saying, because in all other games it would be like shooting tentacles and dodge this, and this is just like kill it.
I was ready for like a 10-stage boss fight. I'm like, oh, here we go. And really there's 2 stages. The second one becomes Dead Space, where you're being held upside down and have to... I had the grenade launcher at this point, so I was like... She was luring me closer as I was like trying to reload, because it won't let you switch when you're hanging upside down.
Yeah.
You're stuck with whatever you got. So I had the grenade launcher with the neuron rounds, and I'm like, oh, I'm screwed, because he was taking forever to reload. But as she was like inching me closer to her mouth, I think
at that point I had ran out of machine gun ammunition and was using the pistol with the enhanced rounds.
Gotcha.
But it's still a freaking great moment.
Any moment where you're being hanged upside down in a horror game is probably a good moment.
This is it's the perfect level of what this boss fight needed to be, and then it has a callback because you hit the ground after she picks you up a bunch, and you literally get on the radio. Use it because you look down, they've dropped the weapon for you, which is straight out of RE2, which how you take out Mr. X is they drop a rocket launcher. Ada throws a rocket launcher at you. Mm-hmm. And also in RE5 is how you take out Wesker in RE5. Someone drops an RPG. I want to say in RE1 it has a moment like, no, maybe it's just 2.
In RE1, you have the moment where you have the countdown timer and have to run away and escape.
RE2 is when they throw out the rocket. Ada drops the rocket launcher for you. But it's like a callback to multiple boss fights throughout the RE series. And you get what is with that pistol. What is that pistol?
It's a pretty good pistol.
I don't know what it is, but it's like a powerful like rocket pistol or whatever. And you get to just empty it into Evelyn's face to get the final destruction on her.
I thought it was like a serum gun, like to turn her. Is what I thought it was.
That actually makes sense. Yeah, I think you might be right.
Because you shoot her and then she starts like crusting up like Jack was. So I was like, oh, this gun is just filled with that serum.
Also, that's how Mia dies. When you kill Mia, she crusts up and fades away.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, because you got the better ending. When you finally destroy... Also, it's daytime.
Yep.
Because all of this took place in one night.
Worst night of the dude's life.
I actually love that in stories. I love stories that take place in... Like, this is a weird thing about me. You ever see the movie The Warriors?
I know of it. That's a movie I need to see.
Watch The Warriors.
Because a part of me is like, if I watch the movie, won't that spoil the game? And then if I play the game, I'm like, if I play the game, well, it's a chicken and the egg thing.
Watch the movie.
What do I do first?
The whole point of The Warrior, I love things that are straightforward. Like, we have to get from here to here, and this is what the story is. It's not set over multiple days. The Warriors is set between one night, a group of people trying to get from, I think, Brooklyn to Coney Island.
And they have to pass through rival gang territory.
Exactly.
I know the premise, and it sounds really cool.
But Black Hawk Down was based on a real event, but it's about that day. The freaking Die Hard. Get to the top of the... It's all set in a single location. This is what happens in the story. It doesn't need to be a 10-day thing. You know, I love that it's a one night. This was a horrible freaking night for Ethan. But then we get our Resident Evil character show up. Bunch of guys in gas masks.
I called this ending last episode, and I was like, that won't happen. Chris just shows up at the end and says, like, glad you made it to the other end of this thing.
I wish he did.
And I was like, what was the line I said he would say? Like, tell me everything that happened.
Instead, he's just like, hey, man, I got you. My name is Chris I think he even says,
my name's Chris.
My name is Chris Redfield. He even says Redfield.
Yeah.
And we'll get you out of here or whatever. And I was like, what the hell? Like, as a Resident Evil fan. Also, Chris is off the steroids. Because Chris, last time we saw him in RE5 and 6, we're not going to talk about 6.
Wasn't everyone super buff in 6?
Fucking not Leon. Leon's still kind of skinny. But, like, Chris Redfield is jacked. Like,
the more you talk about 6, the more I'm like, we need to play 6.
Dude.
Okay,
here's the thing. If people write in and they're like, y'all gotta suffer, play 6, we'll play 6.
I really want to play 6.
But people have to, there's gonna have to be somebody's gonna need to write some reviews on the iTunes to be like, y'all great, 5-star review, play RE6. But, like, Chris is jacked, man.
Yeah.
And he shows up here and he's like, I'm more jacked than Chris is. And I'm like, this is bullshit. I was like, Chris, no, man.
They kind of went for a more realistic, quote-unquote, art style for this. They had to tone it.
It
I
made
feel like
me
they
mad,
were like, we have to tone down everything after 6. We kind of got to...
Like, I get he can't punch a boulder anymore, but, like, I looked at Chris, I was like, Chris, what the heck? What happened, man? Did we stop crawling? Man, that's, like, all you did before. But now, like, Chris went... What it is Chris switched from bodybuilding to freaking CrossFit. And now he's doing, like, CrossFit junk, and he don't look as jacked. It's bullshit. But literally, it's just that. And then it cuts to, in my ending, Ethan in a helicopter, watching the video of Mia on his cell phone. And then he throws his iPhone out of the helicopter. And like, talks about, like, if one door closes, another door opens. And, like, these guys are here to clean it up, talking about the new umbrella.
That was in my ending,
like,
too.
Here's the thing, like, the Zoe ending is so shit. Because it's like Chris is an asshole. I'm not Chris. Ethan. Because even when he's watching this last video, this last, like, happy moment his wife sent him, where she was telling him how much he loved her, or she loved him. He doesn't even take the video with him. He throws it out the fucking helicopter.
What a jerk.
Like, what an asshole. Like, I was sitting there thinking about it afterwards. I was like, they don't, if you do the Zoe ending,
not even like I'm sorry, Mia. Or anything like that.
Yeah, like, it felt really weird. Like, okay, what's about your ending? Did Mia survive? Mia was locked in the room.
It's basically the same thing as yours, except as he's, like, giving the monologue and they fly back, he turns over and Mia's there in, like, a shock blanket.
God damn it! Michael, I would never forgive you. First of all, you broke the sanctity of the iTunes review.
What do you mean? I had nothing to do with this.
And now you robbed me of the good ending in RE7.
I asked you if that was a good plan. I was like, hey, do you want to play different?
No, it was a good plan. I'll give you credit, Michael. It was a good plan.
Okay.
But you also said I picked left. That was your description. And so I picked right. And I was like, God damn it! Right when I did it, I was mad too. I went to bed that night mad
because I didn't want to spoil
what. Make me pick Zoe.
I didn't want to spoil what the twist was or what you knew was coming. I wanted to keep it vague, so you were still kind of surprised when you got there.
Yeah. Okay, but that is a better ending. Well, also, that's got to be the canonical ending because I watched a bunch of stuff about RE8.
Is Mia in 8?
No
reference.
Well, okay, maybe. Yes, because that was okay. This is not a spoiler because it's in the trailer. He talks to Chris in a trailer in 8, and he says, "You killed my wife." Now, I was like, because I had finished RE7 at that point when I watched that trailer again. I assumed that he meant like Umbrella killed his wife during the events of RE7 because that's what happened in mine. Mm-hmm. But I'm assuming Mia survives, and also RE8 is about him going to find his daughter. Can't have a daughter if you ain't got somebody to have a daughter with.
Unless he just never mentioned her.
Unless in my ending, Ethan just like goes off and marries somebody else in like 2 years and like never happened. Nothing ever happened in that freaking house. But like I'm assuming that your ending is the canonical one, and him and Mia eventually have a daughter.
I'm pretty sure usually the good ending's the canonical ending and things.
I got the achievement that said you got ending 2. And I was like, fuck. I was so mad. I was like, ending 2?
I didn't know there was a bad ending because he said, you got ending 1. And I went, oh no. Aaron's going to be mad at me.
I was so mad. I told my wife I finished the game last night, and I looked at my wife and said, Micah's an asshole. And she goes, why? I goes, because my ending sucked. But I will say this. Like, I'm going to watch your ending, because your ending actually sounds like the ending I'm going to go with. But, let's put a bow on this real quick. This was a beautifully well-made video game.
This is a really great game. I like the first half more. The second half kind of, I think, loses a lot of the tension and everything in the first half. But it's still a very, very, very good game.
It had to lose some of the attention because I think you eventually have to get to the point that you actually take back the fight. You know, it's like in any movie where
this isn't a Silent Hill game where you're just constantly beating.
Yeah, eventually you have to turn the tide, and this is the turning of the tide. This is Gandalf showing up at Helm's Deep. You know, it's you have to turn the tide eventually, and that's what this is. But it's such a well-designed video game. I will not understand the Zoe Mia choice to this day.
Yeah, that was weird.
I would have hated as a player not knowing and just accidentally or I don't know, overthinking it and picking Zoe, because I really feel like now that I know your ending exists, but I'm like, that's the real ending.
At that point, you can go back to an earlier save and then probably breeze through that section in an hour to get the endings because you know where everything is and can
That Mia section is pretty long. It's a pretty long section.
But if you know exactly what to do, then I'm sure you can get to it.
You could just, and you could probably bypass, like there's several sections in there where like you don't actually need to go get all that stuff from all those rooms. So like you could probably bypass them. But a
lot of the fun of Resident Evil games, there's people who just constantly replay Resident Evil to like improve their time and everything. They like the scorecard at the end.
I think RE3 has an achievement in the remake for beating it in 2 hours. Like
that sounds nuts.
No, beating it in an hour, I think.
What?
It's like beat the game in an hour.
That is nuts.
Which there's got to be a formula to it, like because that's.
You gotta
it's not a long
min-max your playthrough pretty much.
And also like both of the remakes have achievements for like only visit the supply box once or don't visit the supply box and stuff like that. It's freaking nuts. People love that stuff. And if you're that kind of person, man, right on. I love watching the playthroughs like that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a ton of unlocks, which is one of my favorite things about Resident Evil games. Like when you beat them, you always get like, here's a bunch of skins and crazy cool stuff that you can play the game now with, you know.
You get a gun.
You just get a gun.
And Madhouse difficulty, to which I say,
Fuck that.
No thank you.
Fuck that. But this is a really good video game, man. It's one of the best video games I think we've played for this show so far.
I agree with that.
Like we've played some great ones.
I wish I liked the second half as much as I liked the first half, because right away when we do our end of the year rankings, I would be like, this might be number 1 if I liked it as much. But it's still a really great video game. Man, has me really looking forward to playing 8 at some point.
I'm going to play 8. I'm not going to go straight into it.
I want to go and play 2 and 3 and kind of fill in the blanks of some of these series, but in the end, I know that if I go and play this series, I'm going to pick the weird entries like Resident Evil Gaiden on the Game Boy Color.
No. I will say this.
The non-canonical sequel.
I 100% vouch for the 2 remakes, RE2 and RE3 remakes.
Those look incredible.
They're amazing video games. Would you like to know my Resident Evil ranking?
Let's do it. Let's rank some Resident Evil.
Number 3 is the RE2 remake.
Okay.
Number 2, surprise, surprise, is actually RE7. And then number 1 is still RE4. Fuck y'all.
Nothing will top Resident Evil 4.
Fuck y'all. Y'all ain't gonna beat RE4, guys.
I never heard you consider VR until they were like, guys are remaking RE4 in VR.
I sat there and I was like, now's the time. Because, dude, man.
How much is an Oculus Quest?
Just to play RE4. I love that video game, guys. I love RE4 so much.
It's a great game. We'll play that at some point.
Oh, yeah, of course. Dude.
How hilarious would it be if we ended up playing 6 before 4?
I would be so fucking mad. Guys, y'all better do some reviews if you want RE6 for sure.
Please, I kind of want to know what that game is, and then I'll hate myself for it and be like, why do I want this?
Watch that be the thing that makes everybody go review. Like, let's torture them. I played some of the Chris DLC.
I played a little bit, didn't finish it.
The Chris DLC is you hunting down Lucas. It follows the immediate events of the game, and it's apparently about like 2 hours or an hour. It's actually very freaking good. I played a lot of it. I played all the way up to the branching
paths.
That thing. It's very late.
I got to the second portion of it where I got the night vision goggles.
Yeah.
And then I stopped and was like, all right, cool.
It's very cool. I'm gonna probably finish it. There was a ton of DLC for this video game.
End of Zoe, I think, was
End of
one.
Zoe, which I'm assuming from the description is actually maybe explains what the hell happened to Zoe in this game.
And the banned footage, which I heard was terrifying.
Apparently, the banned footage. I watched a little like trailer for it. The banned footage, if you want more of the first half of this game, when we were all so scared that we were questioning our decisions, you play the banned footage. If you want more of the second half, which is the action focus, that's the Chris story. And then I think the Zoe one is like kind of a mixture.
If you want the story more than... Yeah.
It's, but...
The Chris one explains more of the Umbrella stuff, because you can look through his inventory and it explains, like, this is what happened with Umbrella between 6 and 7. They wanted to right the wrongs that they made in the past, so they became a private military corporation, but still kept the name?
And just changed the color to blue.
Like a royal blue, purplish thing.
I don't know.
I was like, who's their PR guy? Because, hey, I joked about before, hey, you're going to keep the name and switch to a PMC, then everything's going to be right with the world again. But this is like a hyper-militaristic... Zombies happen, so I imagine that, hey, we can trust these PMCs. They kind of come in and help with the zombies.
They fight zombies, so I guess they're cool. Chris also looks a lot different in the 8 trailer. He looks more badass than this. I thought he was going to look like a badass. I'm still really disappointed that he's not as badass as he looks in the 8 trailer. In the 8 trailer, he's got like a buzz cut. In here, he's got like slightly longer hair than I do. And I'm just not a fan of this Chris look. But I do like the fact that I'm gonna probably beat his DLC just because I make fun of Chris a lot because he's not Leon. But
very few people are Leon.
What happens if Leon shows up in 8?
Man.
Think about it. Like, what happens if Leon is Chris for 8? So at the end of 8, like you're escaping vampire lady or whatever, and then all of a sudden a guy with a gas mask shows up around the corner and takes it off, and he goes, "My name is Leon Kennedy, and I'm here to get you out of here."
Where's everyone going? Oh, bingo.
Dude, what happens if... Okay, did Ada die?
I don't know.
Because I don't fucking remember what happened in 6.
I don't know.
I think Ada might be dead. Gio had superpowers in 5. Shit. Okay, dude, you want to sit down one day and we'll talk about the RE franchise? Because after 4... Remember how I love 4?
I don't want to talk about these. I kind of want to play these. Because the more you tell me how ridiculous they are, I'm like, I know these are going to be bad. But these sound bad in the way that I can appreciate.
Eric's freaking top 3 weird Resident Evil shit.
Okay.
In 5, Jill gets superpowers.
Okay.
In 6, Wesker's son's like a super jacked also has superpowers guy.
Does it become like Senator Armstrong at the end of Metal Gear Rising?
Sort of.
Okay, because now I might download this game.
Also, and then finally, there was this character named Shiva in 5.
Does she have 4 arms and is from Outworld?
No, she's like Chris's like partner in 5. She's the co-op character. And
her. Okay.
Yeah, she disappears from the franchise after 5.
What?
I don't think she's in 6 at all.
Maybe she'll come back. That'd be a cool person to
No,
bring
man.
back.
If you brought her back instead of freaking Leon, I'd be so mad.
Or both. You can have them both
You
come
have
back.
Claire.
We have... Well, what's going to happen with that Resident Evil Reverse multiplayer mode? Because that's like a PvP thing.
That reminds me of like the Mercenaries mode.
Gotcha.
For like the Resident Evil franchise, which 5 had a really, really good one.
8's going to have one. I saw the trailer for it, and that looks fun.
But there is that Resident Evil Versus game where like you can play as Jack inside the police station. Did you see this?
there was a beta for it, and I tried to download it, and then it was like, oh, you missed your time window because
This shit's
it's so terrible.
Why is it timed? Like, why?
I don't know, but
I don't know, man.
But yeah, Resident Evil 7, really good video game, and I really want to play more Resident Evils after this. Not immediately, though. No,
yeah,
I need a break.
I'm not immediately gonna do it either, but
it's hard for me to. I talked about this a little bit with Spider-Man earlier in this episode, tying it back to the beginning. But it's hard for me to, like, when I finish a game of a certain type, to go right back into the same type of game. Like, I just, like, let me play something completely different.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you kind of don't want to get super into it. It's a good video game. Really good video game.
I agree. I'm glad we played this.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. Let's go ahead and let's just say that we're going to talk about our next game. How does that sound?
That sounds really nice.
Let's play something not scary.
Not so scary that I know of. Something completely different vibe, completely different gameplay style. What do you say we play an indie game from the Xbox Live Arcade days?
Back in the days when they do like Summer of Arcade.
The Summer of Arcade.
Like Super Meat Boy and what's some other Summer Arcade games?
I have one for you. How about a game that was developed? These guys, Supergiant Games, was
the creator of Hades.
The creator of Hades. Let's go back to their first game that put them on the map of the indie scene. A little game called Bastion.
Bastion is a game I've always wanted to play.
Same. It's like we have an excuse for that stuff now.
It's like all of a sudden we have a show that lets us play video games we've always wanted to play. I am very excited about Bastion. We're gonna do this as a one shot. I think we're both playing it on the Switch. Bastion, man, tell me about Bastion. I know it's a Supergiant game.
Bastion is an isometric action RPG developed by Supergiant Games, and Supergiant was formed by Amir Rao and Gavin Simon, who were both former employees of EA in 2009. And they picked up Greg Kasavin, who was the former site editor at GameStop, to join the studio to direct their games.
Also, this game had a fascinating thing if you were like a Giant Bomb fan.
I have that in my notes.
Because they really followed this game all the way through because those guys were all friends of theirs.
Building the Bastion was what that series was called.
Yeah, it was a good series. It was a very good series. Early kind of Giant Bomb standout series in my mind.
This game was made with a team of 7 split between a San Jose office for development and a New York office for music and voice acting. Even some of the people in San Jose didn't even meet the voice actor for the narrator until the game shipped.
Wow.
Like, they didn't even... There was just that level of communication. It's like communication nowadays.
Yeah, it's like everything was through,
Zoom conversations or, like, Google Hangouts and stuff.
What a cool kind of story, too, of that developer to go from being, like a 3-man team to now being a game that's put out, 4 games?
4 games. And one of which was shared Game of the Year contention with The Last of Us Part 2.
Like, yeah, I mean, Hades.
Both of those games swept awards.
If you I talk about Giant Bomb because really it's the only video game site that I truly follow real closely. But I don't think there was hardly anybody on their top 10 list. They do so many of people's top 10s. I think almost everybody had Hades on there.
I think everyone did at least a certain level.
Yeah, I mean,
this past Game of the Year.
To be honest with you, I think I didn't play it till January.
Mm-hmm.
If I did play it, it was very, very late into December. Actually, I think it was late in December when I played it. But it definitely would be on my list. It was a damn good video game last year.
That's a game I really want to check out. But at the same time, I was like, I could play a lot of their... I kind of want to check out some of their earlier stuff because I'm not really big into roguelikes. So... I know from everyone I hear say, oh, this is a roguelike to play if you don't like roguelites. But I kind of liked Into the Breach. That was a really good one.
I would throw Dead Cells out there. I like Hades a lot, but I would say Dead Cells would probably be if you're not like a roguelike guy, but hey, you wanted to try one, I would do Dead Cells.
Gotcha. Artist Jen Lee created the art style for this game to kind of showcase beauty in an apocalyptic world is the kind of aesthetic she was going for. And the narrator was created early in development to convey textual information to the player without the need to drown player in expositional text, because they didn't want to do like a full cast of voice actors. And the other solution to that was like, you need to have a lot of text. And they're like, that doesn't work too. So they're like, they came up with a solution that was like, let's have a narrator to kind of give this game its style and to convey a lot of information to the player and the world itself.
That's a good point. We're going to be playing this. You can't be playing this with no headphones on, boys and girls. Grab your headphones, because it's going to be sound's going to play a big role in this.
And we already mentioned this. Kasavin teamed up with his former co-workers now at gaming website Giant Bomb to chronicle the game's development in a web series titled Building the Bastion. And then Warner Brothers signed on as a distributor after the game received buzz at the 2011 GDC conference.
Fun fact about Bastion, because I followed it through the Building the Bastion stuff, and he was also a guest on the Bombcast a couple of times. It was interesting when that game finally came out, because they're like, can we review this video game that we've been following for the past year? But it's like,
and also one of our coworkers have worked on too. So
it was a funny conversation on there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, this is gonna be so fun.
Bastion is arguably just as famous for its soundtrack composed by Darren Korb, a composer known for at the time for his small-scale TV and film work. And he wanted to make a soundtrack that combined fantasy with like a fantasy soundtrack with like the classic American frontier. And this game was released as part of the Xbox Live Summer of Arcade in 2011 in July, and the game sold 200,000 copies on the 360 in 6 months. That sounds relatively small, but you gotta remember the indie space was a lot different back then, and the game made on a relatively small budget. 200,000 copies on one platform in a 6 month span is great for an indie title.
You have to remember that this is like before the dawn of like mainstream indie games, I guess is a good way of putting it, or like Summer of Arcade was not just indie games. It was also like, I think Battlefield 1943 came out doing Summer of Arcade. Like
Xbox Live Arcade was it wasn't just an indie space. They had a separate section on their store for indie games, and those were like $1 like flash games almost.
Yeah, they were not very good. But like, yeah, okay, you want to talk about some weird stuff? Yeah,
you would always buy them when you had like 80 Microsoft points left, and you go in there and say, "What can I get for this?" And then you play, I made a game with zombies in it.
But like, okay, I will say this though: there was always these like weird little gems in there. I kind of like it. Still sort of exists on the Switch store and on the Xbox store and stuff, but like back in the days when arcade was a completely separate thing, there was always these weird little gems that you would hear about, like, hey man, this like weird, like I made a game with zombies in it and stuff. It was like, these were actually kind of fun. Like, it's $1, go play it. But when Summer of Arcade came around, is when like, say what you want about Microsoft, but for me they helped push indie games to the forefront, because like Super Meat Boy was a big thing.
You should check out.
I remember when Super Meat Boy came out, and it was like, which also has a great documentary.
You should Indie Game the movie.
Yeah,
great documentary.
Great documentary. Watch Indie Game the movie. All those games have been out for a long time now.
Fez especially.
Fez
like,
is
Phil Fish, tragic and just a what a story. Like, I don't know what to say about Phil Fish at this point.
Like,
but man,
okay, it reminded me so much of like indie comics at a certain time. Like, where these guys were on the forefront of this thing. Like, I play a freaking ton of indie games now. And it's because, thanks to Microsoft and Sony and these guys starting to actually like promote these games back in the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 time, like, now it just makes more sense for us to play a game like Bastion or something, where we wouldn't have probably done that if we were doing this show back in those days, you know? But, like, you see those guys doing, like, the indie game, the movie, and they're on the forefront of this like exploding indie game scene, and it's fascinating to see where they went. That's a good movie. Watch that documentary.
The soundtrack in the same time frame that Bastion sold 200,000 copies on the 360 sold 30,000 copies of the soundtrack. So that is pretty about good. One in 10 people said, I want to buy this soundtrack. That's pretty good.
I feel like the only other game like relatively close to that would be like Doom. Because you listen to that Doom soundtrack is freaking baller, man. I'm still listening to Doom 2016 soundtrack.
I looked at the Nier Automata soundtrack for a long time and was like, there is like 4 CDs worth of music here, because each song has like 5 different versions of it. So That is, I was like, that's pretty pricey.
Okay.
The game was critically acclaimed, winning Best Xbox Live Arcade Game of 2011 IGN, RPG Game of the Year at RPG Gamer. It won Best Score, Best Song, and Best Downloadable Game at the Spike Game Awards.
You know, the pinnacle of journalism, the Spike Game Awards.
And it won Best Score... Oh, sorry. It won Best Music and Best Debut at Giant Bomb's Game of the Year 2011 Awards. And then in August 2011, it was released on Steam. And the game was later ported to everything. iOS, the Google Chrome browser, Mac, PS4, Vita, Xbox One, and in 2018, where all indie games eventually land, the Nintendo Switch.
So you have no excuse not to play along.
By 2015, Bastion had sold 3 million copies. Supergiant would then go on to make Transistor, Pyre, and Hades. Pyre is a game that as soon as I got my PlayStation, I put on my wish list, and I've been, because like the lowest it's been is like $4. It's sitting at 20. I'm like, I'm just waiting. As soon as that goes down, I'm going to grab it, because it's like a fantasy basketball game, and I'm like, this sounds like my stuff. This sounds awesome. We talked about sports games. I'm like, give me a sports game that's weird and crazy. I'm like, that's it. That's the one.
We're gonna
wait for it.
There's gonna be a ball. I'm really looking forward to this.
Very excited. Like, this is a game that I think is going to benefit from our binging of it.
Yeah. So we're going to be playing this as a one shot. I think it's around 6 hours. Yeah. We'll also, it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a great show. Some people have asked if Nick will be joining us again. Nick's having to step away for a little bit. He's got some personal stuff. Nothing crazy. He's definitely going to be back, guys. I mean, I appreciate. We miss him too.
We're holding Metal Gear Solid for him.
Yes,
I got that waiting for. That might be why he left. Like, he might be saying, "Yeah, I got some stuff going on," but I'm just holding a copy of Metal Gear Solid. We go, "What do you mean?"
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. I think Nick's triumphant return will probably be Metal Gear Solid.
Yes, absolutely.
But thank you guys for listening. Another great show, guys. We really appreciate all the support we've been getting. Get on there, man. Don't let this review travesty to happen, okay? We gotta fight back. But once again, thank you guys for listening. stateofthesave@gmail.com. State of the Save at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Michael, say goodbye, Michael.
Goodbye, Michael.
Hey, that was a great joke.
I had to steal Nick's joke since.
Yeah, because it's in honor. The Nick Award for joke at the end of the show. See y'all. Stay safe.